What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. My name is Anthony, and I know it's been quite some time since the last time I've shot a video related to cars, and the reason is because I've been kind of doing a couple things. So I know I posted a few videos about my 335i catastrophic accident. Posted a while ago about my 95 M3 and doing a turbo system on that. That's still in the works, and there's been some hiccups here and there, so I haven't really posted a lot of content because I'm still working on that. If you've been following my channel, I've recently purchased a 2011 BMW 335 diesel. I purchased this because I wanted a good commuter car and wanted something that still handles very nicely, and this car has been really great for the last 4 months. It's been pretty good. It gets great gas mileage, and overall it's a pretty nice looking car. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about is contemplating 335i versus the 335d and kind of going through, you know, some of the pros and cons between the two cars. Now they are a lot different. One's a diesel and one's a gasoline car, engine car. So they are quite a bit different, and I'll just talk to you about some of the things that I've experienced. So we'll kind of go through there. A couple updates on my current car. So the other M3 that I've been showing you guys, that car is still tore apart, kind of in the process of getting a downpipe welded on and getting that set up. Most of the parts are on there. It's about 95% complete. Tuning is good to go. I haven't really posted a lot of content on any cars really, and really haven't had a lot of things to do. I've kind of done a couple interior modifications to my diesel, but I really haven't gone full force like I did with the 335i, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about some of the reasons why. But we can go ahead and get started with the first thing. Now, if you're talking about a 335i, it has an N54 or N55 engine, and then you got the 335d with the M57 engine. I'm going to stick more to the N54 because really that's what I had. I didn't have the N55, so I'll stick with that and kind of do a comparison between the two. Now, overall, I mean, the cars look identical. You know, the E90 and the E90 335i's or 335d 335i's look identical, and really the only difference is that on the 335d's they have a something towards the back of the bumper. It's like a little cover, and that's where you fill the DEF fluid. And you know, some differences between the diesel and the gasoline engine. You obviously don't have to do that on the gas engine, but it's a little bit different. Drivability, I would say the two drive really well. The 335 diesel handles extremely well, just as the 335i did. Very sporty. Interior looks exactly the same. Has the same trim models available: M Sport, you know, Sport, Base, Premium, Luxury, etc. One of the biggest things that I noticed coming from the 335i to the 335d is that a lot of the mechanical parts are not interchangeable. I thought I was going to be able to use my blow-up valve, charge pipe, and all that stuff onto my car, and you absolutely can't. Totally different. You can't use the intercooler, can't use the transmission, can't use the clutch. I was kind of thinking that you would be able to swap, because I had a 6-speed transmission, and be able to put that in my car, but not possible. A lot of the parts are not interchangeable. Exterior wise they are, interior wise they are. The turbo systems are completely different. You know, you have the two twin turbo design engine on the 335i, whereas on the 335d you have a smaller turbo, larger turbo, and it's completely different. The manifold is different, and just the whole design of the engines are completely different. The 335i has a lot of support and there's been a lot of R&D on a lot of aftermarket companies that have produced a ton of different parts. You know, you're thinking downpipes, intercoolers, charge pipes, inlets, outlets, exhaust, etc. Whereas on the 335D, there's not a lot of that stuff. There's very limited aftermarket support and very limited parts. Now, there are a lot, but on the 335D, it's way more expensive. And that's been the biggest thing. That's kind of why I haven't done anything to my cars, because it's so much more expensive. You can flash on the 335i very quickly. On the 335D, you kind of have to take it to a tuner and have them do that, or send in your ECU. Now, I haven't done that at all yet because it costs money. The price difference is considerably higher with the 335 diesel. The parts are a lot more expensive. Just to do the deletes for the emission system, you know, can run you anywhere from like $1,000 on the low end up to about $2,000 on the high end, up to $3,000 if you really go all out. It is really expensive, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I haven't really done anything with the 335D as far as that aspect. But you know, I think it's something that I'll work towards in the future. I had to adjust the camera. But you know, when you think of the MHD flasher on the 335i platform, it's very relatively inexpensive to flash tune a 335i, or even go with JB4 and use a piggyback, as opposed to, you know, when you go with the 335D, there's only a few select tuners, and the tunes run anywhere from, you know, $500 to about $1,500. So it's pretty expensive, and for the power gains you get, it's not that crazy like the 335i. And that's been one of the biggest differences between the two platforms, is with the 335i, you're going to make an insane amount of power relatively cheap and pretty quickly, as with the 335D, you're not going to get that. But it is a pretty unique car. There were only a few, I don't know, maybe a few thousand built. I can't remember the correct number. Maybe some of you can post that in the comments. But it's a relatively rare car, and I think when you see one out on the street, it's a pretty rare occurrence. There's not a lot of them out there. As far as reliability, I'll say the N54 vehicle isn't as reliable. You know, there's a lot of things that go wrong. If you've taken a look at some of my other videos on the 335i, maintenance and reliability isn't its strongest suit. You know, there's a lot of issues with the high pressure fuel pump, the belts getting eaten up, and its turbos is a big one. Charge pipe broken hoses and things like that. Whereas the 335 diesel does have its fair share of things that could go wrong, you know. But once you do deletes, you know, with like EGR delete, the DPF and the SCR delete, swirl flaps, once you do those things and then tune it, makes it very reliable. You know, so it's, you pop in a couple grand, get that done, and then you have a really reliable car. I've heard these cars go anywhere from 200,000 to 300,000 miles, and they're very reliable. A lot of good stories that I've read on them. Done a lot of research on it. So I'm no expert by any means, but you know, I do a lot of research. And the 335D, one thing that I know is that it gets very good gas mileage compared to my old 335i. It got about anywhere from like 10 to 12 miles on a good day, whereas my 335D is getting about 30 to 33 miles per gallon. Once I do the deletes, I should average about 35 to 36, which is relatively pretty good. You know, it's out of like a hybrid or something. But for me, it's good because I commute a lot, so you know, I drive it a lot. I would say that the 335D does have an issue with like the harmonic balancer and a couple other small things, but nothing too crazy compared to like the 335i. So if you're contemplating buying one or the other, you know, it really comes down to, you know, how much, what you're looking to do with the car. If you're looking for a high horsepower vehicle, then probably the 335i is going to be, you know, the car. If you're looking for something more reliable, good gas mileage, still good power, then I would suggest going with the 335D, because that's a very good car, still looks good, and you know, it's got that reliability factor to it. N54s can be reliable. Reliability, maintenance, you know, if you can do it all yourself, and you know, parts aren't a big issue for you or concern, then 335 might be the way to go. And the research and development isn't quite there with the 335i platform. There's a lot more companies that are doing making parts and, you know, doing things like that, whereas on the 335D there's only a few, so it's not as flooded as some of the other markets. I wanted to make this video just to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about those, the reliability and the, you know, the difference between the two. I didn't go really in depth, but just kind of gave a brief overview of it, and wanted to make a video since I haven't made a video in quite some time. Anyways, guys, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be putting out more content related to my 335D, also to my Turbo M3 that is still getting worked on. I'll be doing more things to the 335D slowly but surely. Hopefully I'll get it deleted within the next year, because I would like to take it on road trips and, you know, take it for vacation and things like that, but mainly doing road trips with it. Also going to be doing some upgrades to the exterior. I've done a couple things already, which I'll share with you guys now.